Hello, everyone. How are we all? I'm not alone. I know it looks like I'm alone, but I've got two people hiding behind the curtains. We've got an Andy and we've got an Ed. Oh, look at that happy, smiling face. What a lovely bunch. How are we all today?
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Train was still running. It was all good. Got home. So
Good.
Aye.
Good. We've already got people here. Look at this. We've
Yeah.
got Adam, who's been waiting in the wings since 25 to 5.
Apparently so.
Bless you, dear. Bless you. Hello, Martin. Hello, Adam. We've got Dave as well. Dave, we need to get you back on here at some point. Drop us a message. Drop us a message when you're ready.
Yeah.
Free the nipples.
Martin loves the intro. It is cool. I might have to start using another one though, because I'm getting an awful lot of copyright claims on this one, even from people that don't own the copyright.
It's a strange world. It's a strange.
It is. Saying hello amongst yourselves. Oh, we've got a Josh here as well. We've got a Josh.
We have a Josh and a Joe.
We have got Joe. Yeah, 3 band members. Okay. And we've got Phil. He never lets us down, does he? Never lets us down. Is it just me or is it incredibly warm? I'm sweating here.
Yeah, I thought it was just me. Well,
Can we have a capital E there, please, Martin? Thank you very much.
Let's have a full stop as well. Yeah.
I know.
Yes, Ed likes capitalised.
Apart from a few electrons.
You have to capitulate to Ed's capitalisation request. Shut up, Joe. Right, what have we all been up to since we last spoke? It's been a couple of weeks, haven't it? That's probably a question we shouldn't be answering. Go on.
I have mainly been installing mesh systems. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that video last night. I was struggling to get to sleep.
Thank you. Good.
Is this the hard drive thing?
Yes, in part. Yes.
Right. Because we didn't have us chat.
We didn't have us chat. No, we didn't. But it's sorted now. I've got the PC talking to the hard drive because they're all on the same network now, and my decos are probably sweating buckets because I'm using them too much as a router rather than a mesh system. But they are both. Right. It's all fine until they die.
No. I have been painting some Tyranids this week. I put 2 nights into it, and I managed to paint the shells on 2.5 of them.
Doctor Who minis?
Pesky Tyranids.
All right. Are they the same as are they like those Blake Zevon Vauxhall Cortinas? Thank you.
We are experiencing difficulties.
What's the...
Please reboot your sense of humour and try again.
What's the better... You've specifically put console there, Joe, so your last option isn't compatible with the question.
Well, you say all PC, so he's gone PS5, Xbox.
Order to Switch.
Or PC.
Or PC.
Oh, see, this is a topic for an entirely different discussion, is this? Because like, the PS5 and the Xbox are interchangeable. They're clones of each other. They both do the same thing.
If you just want to play games, and just get a console. But if you're wanting bragging rights and to try and look down your nose at people, get a PC.
And then spend a couple of $100 every 6 months upgrading it.
Yeah. But
it's old and it's still doing fine.
Why take it on the go? Well, it's got to be a Switch, hasn't it? How you doing, Richard? Are you all right? Oh, was that in your little picture?
Yeah, Dave's made a good point there. Switch is a great option if you like Nintendo games. So if you like Zelda or Mario, you're sorted. If you like any other games, you're screwed. You see,
Hello, Ben. How are you doing?
Ben's used his correct. Well, no, actually, no. Ben hasn't used correct capitalization because he's missed the capital E off evening. Sorry, I'm in Andy mode now.
Andy mode.
Apparently, this is an Andy mode thing. Yeah.
Scraping the
It
barrel. We haven't even got onto our topics yet. Switch is a great option. Yeah,
No.
okay. We saw that. Ed saw that. Used to have a Switch. Okay.
I've got a Switch. There's one on the wall over there.
You know, so funny enough, I do as well. I also have a Switch.
It's on the wall, and he uses it to turn the light on and off.
I do.
Yeah, he does actually have a Switch.
This isn't a Switch. That's just a button.
That's what's called phone. Okay. Sorry, I meant to put Zelda. That's what's called Zelda. Or Zelda what's called phone. Or that's Zelda called phone. Or that's what Zelda phone.
I'm very confused.
Oh, I do like Nintendo games, thankfully.
Yeah, it's double D. In more ways than one.
Double D.
So he says.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. Well, we do actually have some topics lined up.
Yeah, let's do topics.
Should we do topics? Right.
Can I do Twix instead?
No.
Oh, we are not getting onto chocolate bars. We've been there. We've done that. You missed the boat. I believe it was Andy that suggested this one. So, Andy, would you? I'm sure it was you, wasn't it? Or was it Ed?
The substitutes one?
Yeah, was that Ed?
No, that was Ed. I'm disclaiming all
go on
responsibility.
then, Ed. Go on, I'll let you introduce it.
What?
Well, you suggested this.
Your topic.
Oh, my topic.
Your
Right,
topic.
sorry. I don't have a topic, so I'm going to go with the... I think I'll go with the lion bar. Or maybe a picnic. No, right, yeah. So, substitutes. Obviously, we're not talking, five-a-side, jumpers for goalposts. Marvellous, isn't it? Marvellous.
Or the teachers at school.
Or teachers at school. No, we're talking about... So, basically, when we were kids, we all had toys that we used to play with in this lot, but there was probably always toys that we had certain figures or vehicles or things missing from them. So the topic, this first topic is substitute in your play when you're playing with toys. So did you, sort of like hire from the ranks of, say, the A-team, one of the figures to fill in for a missing figure that you had for Star Wars, that kind of thing. So if in the chat you want to give us some ideas what you use as substitute, and we'll crack on and kind of let you know what we did. So, yeah, who wants to go first? Andy or Gareth?
I'll go first because this is going to be so easy for me.
Go ahead.
When this was, I didn't get into it in our personal chat, in our group chat, even though it was asked. I said that I'm not going to have a lot to talk about on this one because I didn't play with toys like that. And Ed dived straight in there. It's like,
oh, yeah.
What do you mean you didn't play with toys like that? How did you play with toys then? Okay. When I meant like that, I meant action figures. So I never played with characters. So I never needed other characters to fill any voids.
Okay.
For me, it was always die-cast cars as a kid. During my play time, when I started collecting figures when it was collecting rather than playing. Probably that might be the easiest way to describe that. So yeah. I didn't need to substitute anything for play.
Yeah.
I would sometimes customize action figures if I was missing a certain character. If I came across spares at car boot sales and whatnot. But so because it was just die-cast cars and brumming them around on the carpet and down the street and things like that, that I never had to substitute anything. I never really thought, I better use this mini as a beetle.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about brand names for cars, really. Or manufacturers for cars. It was just, I like this one. It's red and it goes fast.
If you had to substitute for a beetle, though, which one would it have been? Would it have been John,
Ringo.
George? Ringo. Yeah, I think.
Ringo,
yeah.
Because I was a Thomas the Tank Engine fan as a kid.
Yeah. Minnie's a Ringo kind of character in it.
Yeah. So there you are. You guys go now.
Right. Go on then, Andy. Fill us in.
Right then. So, one of my early TV loves was Buck Rogers. However, Buck Rogers never got any enemies to fly around after from Corgi. You only ever got the Buck Rogers Starfighter. So, instead, he used to chase around my Corgi Klingon D7, which was suitably scaled to be an evil baddie that the Starfighter could chase around and destroy with impunity. So those two were pocket-sized and could fit in my pocket and were my playthings of choice when having intergalactic space battles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And to your one of your statements, Ed, which I think you're going to come to, given my love for all things Starfleet, and given our complete lack of Starfleet toys, this was my Die X,
right?
Who I believe was actually a Shogun warrior,
right?
But in my day, his head looked very much like Die X's head, and he was a little robot, and so I stuck him on the end of my pencils. And in fact, I recently got a whole pile of these guys, varying colours and stuff, because randomly there was an eBay auction going, well, an eBay sale, and you could just, they were selling 10 at a time. So I've now got various colour variations.
Pickups is later.
I suppose they are pickups, but they're more on topic for this particular topic. But yeah, I mean, it's just more of them, basically. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. If I was, I got that because that was the nearest I could come to a Battle of the Planets Phoenix, because it advertised itself as such, but it was not the same one as the cartoon one that I was watching when I was that little. It's still a freaking cool toy, quite frankly.
You could also have used that as an X-bomber because of the way that the front lifts up.
Yeah, I might well have done that. So for those unfamiliar, it does that sort of thing. So that could well have been a neck blast X-bomb, and it also came with ickle tiny spaceships in it as well, which are also X-bombery. So that could well have influenced my my pickup choices for it. Now, obviously, the small spaceships that come in it never last more than 5 seconds because they instantly disappear between floorboards and things of that nature because they're tiny. They're tiny, tiny.
Oh, they had a thick shag-piled carpet.
They were quite bright yellow, though, so I mean, they do, they might be findable again. These are like totally Imperial carriers from Starfleet. That's what I used to use. Those are my substitutes.
Right.
Lots of imagination required, but I had lots of them, so I could do squadrons of them very easily. They're actually from Matchbox Construct a car playsets. They're girders that are vertical normally, but they also interlock very handily, so you can make sort of mega ships out of them if you want to do as well. This could be any generic space rocket going. And it was actually a NASA, I think, was it a Matchbox one?
Just off the back of the convoy trucks.
Yeah. So I used to use that, and it's got a cool detachable front bit as well. So you want a little escape pod, and you've got a little escape pod off the front of it as well. Marvelous. Repurposing, you see. And
strangely, I do remember playing with the rocket off my convoy, and that was the rocket from Tintin for me.
Okay. Mine was often the rocket from Flash Gordon. Because that was white.
Yeah.
And my twin pod was my twin pod, but it also doubled as a submarine because it's die cast. So my kind of twin pod was often in the bath with me when I was very little.
Yeah.
I suppose that's one way of keeping it orange.
That is that one as well. That is my original twin pod from 40 plus years ago.
That's one way of keeping it orange. Rust.
They don't rust. It's die cast. They don't rust. It's brilliant. Lost its paint, but they don't rust. Oh, and I think I probably also used to pretend this was X-Bomber as well at times.
Right.
Good old Britain Space. Good big chunky Britain Space kit there. Right, done my bit. There you go.
Good stuff. Right, next topic.
You suggested this. Come on.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I don't have it. Well, I've only one thing to show for this segment, but for me, it was things like I say, for X-Bomber, for Starfleet stuff like that, it would be Lego. Like a building. I remember building like a Lego X-Bomber, and then it was just kind of substituting figures. So like it was mainly the Star Wars figures, the missing ones, whatever Star Wars figures I didn't have. I remember having, I had a selection of the Battlestar Galactica figures, so the Centurion and the Adama and the Starbuck and Moffat, the Daggett. So they would fill in for. I also had as well some of the Star Trek the Motion Picture figures. So I'd like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. So they would make just general random, like Imperials, like Imperial officers and stuff like that. Also I had a couple of the Black Hole figures as well. So the Stars robot, that would be an Imperial, that would be like an evil Imperial droid, would that, So yeah, it'd be things like that. But the main ones that I can remember would be the Machine Robo Spacey, so the space shuttle one, the bigger sized ones.
Got that downstairs actually.
Until I got Jetfire, that was my Jetfire. So that that's what I used to substitute with that, and then I used to substitute the Soundwave Design Center, the House Martin Soundwave Design. That used to be my Devastator.
Because the size difference.
Yeah, because of the size difference and that, So yeah, those were generally. And then the last one I'll mention is, you may have seen a little prompt of it there. There was a game for a certain micro, but if you can see the ship that's on the front cover.
Spectrum.
Can we enlarge?
Critical.
Let's have a look. Let's enlarge. There we go. So yeah, I built that shuttle out of Lego. And I did it so like a Lego minifigure would fit in it. Yeah, so that's and I do still have that. It's in my old box of Lego that's packed away somewhere.
Cool.
But yeah, so those would have been my substitutes back in the day.
Cool.
Very good.
But
Martin has contributed. Oh, go on.
No, it's okay. No, so I've done. What's that?
I was going to say, Martin's contributed. His Rebel Soldier was a substitute for a DAC with Luke in the Snowspeeder. But he had 2 Snowspeeders, so needed a few Rebel Soldiers.
Yeah, we see, that's the thing. That
What you just use Luke?
That was something when I suggested the subject, that was something I was thinking about, because I don't know about anyone else, but I know that kind of like it seems to be quite a popular thing now, the whole troop building thing.
Army builders, yeah.
Army building. But when I was a kid, the response you got was, "You've already got that.
You've already got that. What do you want another stormtrooper for?"
Yeah, you've already got a stormtrooper. What do you want another one for? Or so that's when the substitutes come in handy. I had variations. I had the biker scout and the ATAT pilot and the TIE pilot and things like that. But it was only one. So.
I would never have dreamt of getting more than one of the same thing when I was little, because I'd always want something new.
But so see, if you were to get Luke X-Wing instead of a Rebel Soldier, just paint the helmet, and you've got a different pilot.
We see, that's the thing. That recalling back as a kid, I think the only ones that I wanted multiples of, which is pretty much the same as today, would be the Stormtroopers and the Biker Scouts and the ATATs. I always wanted 2 ATAT pilots because I wanted 2 to be in the ATAT. But I do remember wanting another Luke X-Wing pilot, so then I could have 2 in the Snowspeeder.
Yeah.
But it never happened. It never happened.
And Phil's contributed as well. He said he did big battles with all his figures, cars, and army men.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he substituted there. Did he substitute the cars for army men?
So here's a sub question then.
Okay.
In terms of your sort of what you collected, did you get more goodies than baddies, or did you try and keep it evens?
I think I had as many black cars as I did white cars.
I think, thinking back, with regards to Star Wars figures, I probably would say that I had more bad guys than good guys. And I think that's just because the bad guy figures looked cooler. So like the Vaders and the Stormtroopers and
more variation, probably. Yeah, I get.
Yeah. With the good guys, they were all like, just like Luke's and I mean, I only ever had one Leia figure, and that was Bosch. The Bosch Bush or Bosch disguise.
Yeah.
So like Stormtroopers, Attack Pilots, Vaders, things like that. So yeah, it was. I would say on that, and I think although with the Action Force stuff, I did have more of the good guys than the bad guys on the Action Force figures.
Interesting.
Because I was just thinking that the G1 Transformers I probably had most of were the mini-bots. And I'm now struggling to think of the Decepticon equivalent because the only ones of that size I can think of were the cassettes.
Yes, there were, yeah.
So there weren't any vehicles, there weren't any small Decepticon vehicles to put up against. So you could have ones chunky, so like you could have Soundwave, but you get mobbed by mini-bots because he was more expensive than the mini-bots. So I don't think it had as many Decepticons because there weren't as many cheap Decepticons.
No. Well, again, I think Transformers-wise, I think I had more of the bad guys. I had more Decepticons than what I had Autobots.
Okay. Interesting.
And I think that wasn't by design. I think it was just, how certain Christmases and birthdays worked out, And
the complete inability of parents to distinguish between the two.
Well, I mean, obviously you'd write your list. You'd write your list, or you'd make a suggestions of the things that you wanted. But I think recollecting back, I don't think it'd have been many more, but I think the scales probably would have been tipped in favour of the Decepticons rather than the Autobots.
Not like
that. But the Autobots did have a lot of backup from GoBots.
Yeah, interesting.
GoBots were more pocket friendly price.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but that's why I got the mini bots as well, because it means I could sneak them into school and not get. No, it's just a car. It's a car, sir. Yeah.
I think Dave's tried to contribute here as well. He remembers playing with his rocket as a teenager. Apparently, it was a Thunderbird 3. I don't know what he was substituting as a rocket of Thunderbird 3.
Moving on.
Yeah, Martin also contributing here used his Lego to build bases for the Rebel Star Wars figures.
And you need quite a lot of Lego for that as well.
Yes, certainly do.
It could have been the Liberator.
School for truanting. That probably explains the misspelling there. Jumpy didn't have a carbon freeze chamber when he was young. I don't think anybody did. He also never had a carbon freezing chamber for Star Wars figures either. So he put them in a margarine tub filled with water in the freezer. I love that. That's brilliant.
That's well played. Yeah.
I do like that. You can imagine the cast being right. Look, Joe's talking about Little Britain.
Yeah.
Randomly. And Richard joining him. I love how we have sub conversations going off in the live chat.
Often the way.
Martin got certain figures by accident. A relative saying he's not got this one, has he? Do you remember Come Fly With Me? Oh, we're moving on from Little Britain now. Yeah, Come Fly With Me was incredible and should still be watched now. Only in her last school, says TJ. She knew more than her teacher. What? Knew more than my... I get you. And Martin has 3 ATAT drivers now. Yes, his army building ATAT drivers. Doesn't have an ATAT yet.
Doesn't it mean pilots? ATAT pilot?
So they're just sitting around having fags all day whilst they wait for an ATAT.
They're not pilots. They're drivers.
I know the drivers. Yeah, I know the drivers. Yeah, ATAT driver. Yeah.
They want to be pilots.
Troopers, said Richard. Currently, he only has 5, but they are all different. Dave mainly played with micro machines as a kid. Got into action figures more as an adult.
Yeah, Mango Machines passed me by at the time, strangely.
I think they were probably a little bit too young for you.
That's what I forgot to mention. Sorry, I'm interjecting. That's what I forgot to mention because I mentioned it when we texted about this. The 10T robots. That was what I use as big Di-X.
Okay. I'm not bad guys. Sean, hello there, young man. How are you?
Hi, Sean.
Good evening.
Joe should have got the small bang figures, but don't. Add more good guys in Action Force. Okay. Do you remember the?
Yeah, it did. It went up for auction recently and went for a lot of money. Yeah. Sorry, just what Martin? What we know? No, I'm too back. What? Yeah. Yeah, with Martin mentioned about more good guys from the Action Force figures. One? Yeah. There was a lot of that back at the time because they came 82, and I think that would have been round about the Falklands War time. And also, you had, I think it was it the year before, the Iranian embassy thing in London.
Of course.
So that made the SAS figure from Action Force really popular. All the kids in the playground wanted one of them. Or if they had the money, the big Action Man SAS figure. Yeah.
Palito were missing a trick there, weren't they, by not doing a Vulcan bomber?
Oh, what? Sorry,
they were missing a trick by not making a Vulcan bomber.
Well, Airfix had that covered for you.
Sean can't wait for the 13 Prime figures. I think there's literally only me that couldn't care less about these 13 Primes. I don't understand how you can have 13 Primes. It's Prime. There's one.
Not anymore. Not for a while.
And he really means he can't wait. Sean, how are you? Hello. I think Star Optimus Prime looks cool. Okay. Retro Chef. Hello, Retro Chef. How are you?
Does he mean Star Convoy? The new one. The new Star Convoy.
No, I think there's a new 13 Prime and it's Star Optimus Prime.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sticklebrick was good for bases, says Phil.
Good. Sticklebrick had some Sticklebricks recently. They're still here, actually.
Of making Lego Transformers. He's eyeing up the AT-AT in my shop, says Martin. Someone nearly bought that last week. Richard says he built James Bond villains bases out of Lego. They generally resembled factories with loads of death traps to throw henchmen in. Cool. Our AT-AT Snowtroopers. The AT-AT is the big four-legged walking thing from Empire Strikes Back.
No, I know what he means. The AT-AT drivers aren't snowtroopers. There are stormtroopers that have hoods on that are the snowtroopers. I think you're referring to there.
Yeah, the snowtroopers are just stormtroopers wearing clans member outfits
for no apparent reason.
Yeah, well, it's warm.
They're
warm.
Yeah, it's cold weather kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bionicle was cool. I actually liked the first film as well. I mean, the pilots are snowtroopers. No, they're not. No. Loads of SAS figures, says Martin. I can't catch up to this chat. Didn't Action Force evolve into G.I. Joe? No. Two separate things that collided and amalgamated into one.
And the cartoon was the same for both. They just redubbed it.
Is that all they did?
I think so.
Yeah, because what happened was when it's the whole Palitoy thing. Palitoy did the Action Force line, which was independent to Hasbro at the time, who was producing G.I. Joe stuff. But then when Hasbro acquired Palitoy via Kenner, with the Star Wars license and things like that, they started phasing out the Action Force figures and dripping in the main G.I. Joe stuff for. So I think it was the first year crossover. You had G.I. Joe figures that were actually on Action Force cards. I mean, you did have a few G.I. Joe figures in there, things like that came with the vehicles mainly, like Stalker and things like that, because they had the articulation so they could fit in the vehicles. But then when they finally phased out the Palatoy Action Force figures, they just changed the cards and it was just all G.I. Joe then. When Action Force was in the Transformers comics, it wasn't Action Force, it was G.I. Joe characters, but just transplanted into the UK with, some slight variations on names, but it's an interesting subject. There's a couple of people out there that have done videos on it that do a more justice and a better breakdown of all the ins and outs of it. But I'd recommend going checking them out if you're into that kind of thing.
I was coming to that. Whoever's just moved on to that one. That sounds very interesting, Dave. I quite like the sound of that. I wouldn't mind having a taste of that myself. I'm currently sipping some rummy cola, shall we say.
I went out of my
Where's
city.
this? Transformers is not doing so well anymore. Transformers is doing incredibly well, Joe.
For a 40-year-old toy line, it's doing remarkably well.
Yeah, it's doing quite well. It's not struggling. Let's put it that way. Who remembers the red skull-faced TIE fighter in Action Force? Don't think I've ever seen one of those. I've no idea what you could possibly be talking about, Sean.
No, I'll get it one day.
I remember what they did with Megatron, where they put the trigger. Well, needed a tickle.
Got to put it somewhere.
Oh, good fella. Well, yeah. Just drop us a line. I'll take a look. Definitely. And Sean is okay. Brilliant. Interested in any cool-looking Transformers, Prime or not? Yeah, fair enough.
There.
Oh, take care, TJ. Bye-bye. You're probably already gone now, but bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. I was only 3 minutes ago.
TJ, have a nice bounty. Oh. Joe, he gets older. It's like a dog. He gets older, something. He just won't let go. Had a lot of Action Force. Loved the tank with the tank driver called Steeler. Cool. Bye, TJ. Didn't AT-AT have two different drivers? The grey hooded looking guy with a white TIE fighter pilot looking one.
The Attack Commander into something. General Veers. It was supposed to be General Veers, wasn't it?
Yes. It's the figures, the Attack Commander, but it's just General Veers with an extra piece of armor on his chest, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the Snowtrooper arm. It's the Snowtrooper chest.
Snowtrooper armor painted khaki.
Yeah, because it's the same one that they use for Dengar.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. But no, there were two. He stands behind two drivers.
Yeah.
Which are the white TIE fighter ones.
Which we've begun our assault, doesn't he? He does that a lot. Yeah.
Which in the bigger AT-AT toy, you can actually do that. You can actually have him stood behind the two.
It does exist, Joe. I've got one at my shop. Did you look into the first use of CGI in a film?
No. No.
But he's slept since then.
I did. What was it? Homework? What I supposed to?
I think you said that you were going to do it, but obviously,
all right.
It's one of those things.
I've all to remember what I had.
Drink. What's a gentleman's drink? The rum and coke. If you had a superpower, what would it be? I'm sure we've done this. The ability to drown out incessant prattling. You Star Wars fans, what a bunch of nerds. We are. Sean sent me a photo. What, another one? I hope you've covered up this time.
Right, we're caught up. Are we moving to the next topic?
Yeah. Sean, there's one right there. It's literally right there.
It's quite small. Go big.
Is it better without the glare?
Yeah, I made it big. There you go. Somebody better fix it back to 3 again, though.
It can be piloted by the Cosmic Toy Man as well.
Bonus.
Although it does have the proper pilot right beside it. Where have you guys gone?
I was zooming in for your red skull.
Okay.
Flip. You're back now.
The Red Skull TIE Fighter. Did you look into the life cycle of the bobbit worm?
Can't say I did.
You did say, but it was over a month ago. Robo Skull's awesome. It certainly is. Right, okay. Well, I think that probably brings substitutes to a fitting end.
It does.
An end, anyway.
Yeah. Get a TIE Fighter, paint it red, sort of. There you go.
There you go.
Oh.
There's a Robo Skull.
Look at that. Ed's there. He's got it all to hand. Look at that.
Like a car bonnet. Nice.
There we go.
Skeletron.
Yeah, I don't think I have a Skeletron. No, the Skeletron's the one that I still want.
The Red Wolf.
I've got the Red Wolf, which for some reason I keep calling Space Wolf. But yeah, Red Wolf. Well, I've got the Kraken hiding behind that translucent blue Grand Admiral throne.
Yeah, mine's called Phil.
Forget that.
Forget that. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah. So we have another topic of discussion, don't we? To move on to, which again suggested by Ed. I think people are running in fear from this one. I think they've made quite a lot of suppositions about it, and they're probably wrong, but we'll go with it. Hasbro scaling back. It's the end of toys. There's never going to be any more toys.
We're going to substitute toys for collectibles.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done, isn't it? That's what they've found.
Smooth linkage there.
Still, go on. Again, Ed, you suggested this one, so I'll let you introduce it. And then
it was...
I'll throw my 2 pence worth in.
Yeah, it was just... I was browsing just various news articles and things like that, thinking of subjects to discuss, when we came on air. And I'd come across this one, about Hasbro and, the alleged, sort of like scaling back on toy production and wanting to move more into digital media, like digital gaming and digital play and things like that. And yeah, there has been a lot of commentary about it. I mean, I've watched probably 3 or 4 videos about it, so far this week, and they all seem to be saying pretty much the same thing. I think there is a lot of assumption, but my personal view on it is that it wouldn't surprise me if this is the way that Hasbro are going to go, because I think that Hasbro is hurting. I think in certain areas when it comes to toy sales, they're just not doing. I think it was last year or the year before where they posted and stated that I think for the first time their collectors market actually outsold just general toy sales. So basically, the collectors, the adult collectors were propping up the company. I don't think it was by much, but I think it was the first time, that posted there was this shift in sales. I think also as well, what may have something to do with it is, I don't know if I should wear a tinfoil hat for this one, but I kind of feel that maybe in some way Disney's kind of responsible for this, because they're making a few movies recently that aren't being very well received, and which then has a knock-on effect, I see, of making the figures not being that well received. You know, so you're getting a lot of figures from films that are just shelf warming because people aren't interested. They don't want them. You know, they're not over keen on the films. They don't want the figures. You know, and that's got to hurt the sales. You know, to me, you know, you're mass producing these figures and they're not getting sold, or they're ending up going to, you know, bargain shops. You know, like, you know, I don't know, B&M or Game or, you know, wherever. You know, they're just flogging them off to there to get them out the door and get them sold cheap. You know, so there's lots of things, and I think there's a quality issue as well. One video that I watched today made an interesting point about how the quality of Hasbro product is declining. You know, like plastic quality, paint applications, etc., things like that. I mean, I've noticed. I mean, I've not bought any for a good while now, but there seemed to be a bit of a decline in Black Series to what they were a couple of years ago. They don't seem to be as good. You know, he seems to be just superficially, like paint applications are getting a bit sloppy and a bit messy. The only ones really that have been consistent, I would say, is G.I. Joe. You know, the classified stuff. That seems to have been consistently good. But yeah, I think the main point I want to make about Hasbro and this news article, which I don't think it's a point that, well, the videos and the articles that I've read and watched up until now, none of them's mentioned it. And the first thought that came to my mind was, from a business point of view, a business model, and to make money, I can see why Hasbro may want to go to digital play, because then they can charge you monthly to play. You know, like a monthly subscription to play, where you buy an action figure or a toy car or something like that. That's it. It's one and done. You know, but this way they can charge you. You know, so it's like, you know, it's any online platform at the moment. You have to pay a monthly subscription. So it's like, oh, if we go to digital play, we can charge, you know, a monthly subscription, and we can also charge for like top-ups or specials or, you know, this add-on or that add-on kind of thing. You know, it's the upsell market all the time, you know.
But the thing is, Fortnite's already weaponized things like Star Wars skins and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder what Hasbro would have left. They probably already.
You see, this is it. Yeah, you see, this is the thing. This is why I think in in a lot of ways, Hasbro is very late to the market. If this is what
they do. Very late. Yeah.
You know, the only way I could see them succeeding would be if they either go into partnership or acquire a digital gaming company. You know, to sort of like to do this grunt work or try and build something off existing work.
Because presumably they'd have to do. I mean, Lego did this, didn't they? Because Lego obviously had the Star Wars license, then they started doing Star Wars Lego video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure whether or not that was a games company taking a license from Lego, from Star Wars, and sort of, you know, passing it that way, or whether or not it was Lego driven, or indeed even Star Wars driven. I'm not sure.
No, I think it was an independent games company that kind of made a game based around the two things, you know, like Lego and Star Wars. I think was it TT Games. I think it was. I think they were called TT,
THX or something. Yeah, something T. Yeah.
But the Lego games, the Lego Star Wars games, hugely playable. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were brilliant.
Great, fun little games. You know. You know, but unless Hasbro are going to do some, I mean, it's like with. I'm going to make myself probably really, really unpopular with this, but I mean, Hasbro have done a lot of things which kind of like come off as gimmicky, or it's like the Robosense stuff, you know, like you buy a transformer that transforms itself. It's like, right, okay, where's the fun part for me then? It's kind of,
that's not Hasbro though, is it?
Yeah, but it's a Hasbro license.
It's a license, but it's Robosense themselves that make them.
Yeah, they've made it, but Hasbro's getting some money out of that honeypot.
Of course they are. Yeah, they'll be getting a commission off that, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but Hasbro didn't make.
No, but it's still a Hasbro thing. Yeah, it's still an IP that's owned by Hasbro, and it's still something that Hasbro will have paid Robosen money to invest in it to help design it. Yeah, and then to get the money back from it. It won't. Robosen won't have gone, oh look, we've got this really good idea. We're going to stump the bill for it all. Can we also pay you for the licensing as well? Yeah. There will have been some negotiations there, and Hasbro would have said, right, okay, we'll invest X amount of money because we can see the potential in this, and we'll get this, back from it. But it's I find them quite gimmicky. They're almost like the which nobody seems to talk about now, is the spheroid things. They did the BB-8 and the Sphero.
I was just actually going to mention that.
Yeah, it's sort of like they're probably the bottom drawer of people's collections now, like gathering dust somewhere, so it's the gizmos, the gadgets, and they're vastly overpriced as well. They're a bragging toy. It's like, oh look, I've just spent 15 grand on this transforming Grimlock or Optimus Prime or wherever. It's like, oh, more fool you. But anyway, so I think Hasbro have made a couple of questionable decisions over the years, and I think that's probably where they find themselves in this situation at the moment. And whether it's right or not, whether it's true or not, whether it's speculation or whether they will do it or not, I don't know. But like I say, it's one to watch, because like I say, if Hasbro do cut back, it just means that there'll be opportunity there for other companies to come in and fill the void with action figures, because there's other companies that make far better action figures than what Hasbro do, but unfortunately at the moment they are at a higher price point. So anyway,
yeah, interesting.
Okay.
So I mean, I shudder to think how many different companies Hasbro have actually absorbed now. How many have they actually sort of eaten? So who's actually left? Who is of a similar size? I don't really know what the market looks like in those terms these days. I mean,
I think your big two are probably Hasbro and Lego.
Yeah, I was noticing in the chat, and Dave
like
I was noticing in the chat, Dave was saying about sort of his daughters getting figures, and I was actually wondering, are kids still buying figures?
Yeah,
but maybe they're buying figures.
I was going to get to the chat because they asked. There's been some relevant comments, which is why I haven't wanted to put them up until it seemed like the right time to do so. Dave was actually one of the first ones to hit the nail on the head. Joe tried. Right, look at Power Rangers. They've gone to a different company now. It's not like they've gone to a different company. They're still owned by Hasbro. But just like with the Robosen, they've licensed them out to Playmates, which is what Dave's talking about here. And I think that, just like Dave says, you are going to see more of that. Whether it'll be Playmates, whether it'll be Mattel, whether it'll be some other company. I mean, they're already making money by licensing out Transformers, and have done for several years now, to Super 7, because Super 7 have been doing their reaction line. They've been doing the Ultimates line. They did the big Shogun ones. So Hasbro are sat there making a nice little commission off all of those without having to invest anything. Sounds like really, really good business to me.
Oh yes,
and I think it'll be a lot more of that going forward, like Dave suggested.
But the thing is, though, don't you think that it'll dilute it will dilute it some, because it's like the recent, because of that, with the 40th anniversary of Transformers coming up. Coming up, being and gone. Sorry, there was a glut, and I mean an absolute glut of licensed products that came out. For that, which Hasbro just said, right, yeah, okay, here we go, we're offering this out. You can make this, and everyone and the dog were just making Transformer stuff, and there was too much. A lot of it was just tat. It's just like, bloody collector cards, pencil cases, which obviously, back in the day were fair enough, because there wasn't many doing it or much about. But it was just lots and lots of superfluous stuff that will probably just end up in bargain bins. And it's just like, do you actually weaken a franchise by doing that kind of thing, by licensing out too much or allowing too much to be produced?
But if you stop and think about it, though, how much how much randomness was there even back in the 80s for G1? You know, you mentioned the Soundwave Designer Studio thing. There were glow-in-the-dark stickery things and all sorts of, you know.
No, yeah, there were, yeah.
Jigsaws, lunch boxes.
But the thing was, I think the difference back then is back then you had a children's market that was buying it, where now I think because of you know the way that chip play is changing, you're kind of relying on adult collectors now. I think to buy this stuff.
I think that's what the whole point. I mean, it failed, but I think that was the whole point in Transformers 1.
Right.
You know, that there's no way that's aimed at an adult market. That was aimed, and its toys were aimed at children. And that's probably why it failed, because it didn't hit both of the target audiences. But that said, you look at any of, and I mean going all the way back to G1, every single animated Transformers show, which is what keeps the franchise alive, every one of them is aimed at kids, and every one of them has been successful.
But it's a much busier market. And what I find fascinating these days is, you know, unless said kid has parents who have got the right subscription for exactly the right streaming service, they will not see that.
I think it's on TV.
Yeah, but then how many kids are watching TV?
I don't know, but I do think it's on TV. You got to remember now, though, Hasbro put all of their cartoons on YouTube.
There is that. Yeah, there is that.
Then, like the Michael Bayverse toy is not helping. There's a faction of collectors that don't like the Michael Bay stuff, but kids love it, and kids are the future collectors. Most of your 20-year-old Transformers collectors now got into Transformers through the Bayverse films, so they do sell. They do sell.
Yeah, because they'll
Hello,
be
Joe. How are you?
Was for us.
Miles behind on the chat, so please forgive me. And I can't find where I am now. I should at least see that your comment that's highlighted. There we are. If you look at Marvel's Rivals, that's the next fortnight, quite possibly. Hellos. I think figures associated with video games are likely to be the main collectible in the future. Dave's daughter collects Sonic and Zelda figures. That's always been the case. It has been for quite a long time now. Why NECA don't revisit some of their older licenses is beyond me, because they... I don't know if they still hold it, but they did the Resident Evil figures. They did BioShock figures. They've done all sorts. And on the secondary market now, they go for ridiculous prices. So it'd be nice to see them do, even if they just reissued older figures without putting any more work into it, it'd be nice to see them available to people. But yeah, video game figures definitely do sell well. Manio's another one. Aldel, how well did the Orca Fakina Katie figure from Shang-Chi sell? I didn't even know they'd released one, to be honest with you. And it was Traveller's Tales that did the games that you were talking about. We're talking about Hasbro, don't get me started on Black Series. 3.75 Rogue One figures came with poor weapons and was a waste of plastic. And has anyone got any Eternals figures? Doesn't anyone remember if they saw that film or not? I did like a couple of the Lego sets, though. No, Dracula, hello. How are you? I just covered that one. I think I'm just about caught up with the chat. Right, my 2 pennies worth on this subject. For one thing, I do think that they're doing it as a cost-saving measure, massively. They can still have their product out on the market, and they can still sit there earning money, and they can use it to advertise their video games moving forward, which is where they're wanting to go. They've said they want 2 video games per year on the market from 26 onwards. See how they get on with that. Because the only lines I can think that they would be able to do that with are G.I. Joe, Transformers, Nerf, and Tonka. Because everything else that they do are licenses. Oh, Power Rangers. They could do a Power Rangers game because they actually own that one now, don't they?
It would very much depend on the nature of the license that they have as well. Because if they have the license for toys but not for video games, they're stuffed.
No, that's what I'm saying. They own Transformers, they own G.I. Joe, they own Nerf, they own Tonka, and they own Power Rangers.
But what I'm thinking, though, is that if they've... Again, it depends on the nature of the license. If they've given someone else a license...
they could have subbed it out.
For a period of time. But if they didn't do it exclusively...
Yeah. They could have subbed it out, and they'll just wait for contracts to expire or whatever else, or buy them out even. Regarding toys moving forwards, I think there's certain things that they'll continue to do. I think they'll continue to do mainline Transformers because they do very, very well out of them. I think they'll continue to do the G.I. Joe stuff because they do quite well out of it. Whether or not they'll keep paying Disney a massive fee for Marvel figures and for Star Wars figures, that's yet to be seen. But if they do keep going with it, I think they'll aim at that collector market, or what they're calling the collector market. I think they don't understand that kids buy collector market figures. And that's because the figures that they put out for kids are shockingly bad.
How would they know who's buying it anyway?
Well, this is just it. This is why I think there's a lot of disingenuous reports out there, and there's a lot of just mistaken information. The fact that they're splitting that, I can see why they would make lines that they aim at collectors and that they aim at kids, but they've got no idea who's buying it, like you say. Unless they're actually stood there in the Smith's toy aisles or the Walmart toy aisles watching who's buying it.
But maybe their delineation is sort of, these are very kiddie kids toys, these are not. And that's
obviously. Yeah. I mean, the bot bots that they bring out for Transformers and the play school type Star Wars things, they're obviously aimed at kids. Yeah. But they consider Star Wars Black Series, Star Wars, in fact, pretty much all of their Star Wars lines at the moment, Black Series, Vintage Collection, Retro Collection, your Transformers Studio Series, your G.I. Joe Classified, all of that, they consider the collector market. They don't consider any of that to be the kids market. Well, I can tell you now, kids love Marvel Legends. They consider that part of their collector market. Kids love them. Kids buy them. I would say more kids buy those than adult collectors do. More adult collectors buy the complete waves, which is why you end up with a glut of certain characters left going to clearance because the kids don't want them. And the adults only want them to complete a wave, or to complete a lineup on the shelf, or because they want the part for the Build-A-Figure. Which excellent marketing ploy that Toy Biz did back in the day when these figures were $12.99. Now that they're nearly 30 quid, I think it's a bit of a pain in the backside having to buy two figures in a wave that you don't want, 60 quid nearly, 55 quid for to complete a figure that's supposed to be free. So that's my thoughts on this Hasbro thing. I don't think Hasbro's going anywhere.
No.
I don't think toys are going anywhere. But I do think that they will sub-license out a lot of their toys to other manufacturers.
No, I kind of agree, but I can see a point coming. I think other than what you class as like infant toys, like say play schools and things like that, or your chunky Tonka stuff. I could envision a point. Maybe it'll take 20, maybe it'll take 30 years. I think children will play very, very differently, and I think it probably will be all interactive stuff rather than actual figures and toys. Because it's like you see it now. You see it now that kids seem to grow out of toys much sooner than what we did back in the 80s. Yeah,
that was a point I was going to make. I wonder if the sort of the toy owning period of people's lives is kind of shrinking down. So actually, the sort of the young teens
Yeah.
aren't buying as much as we might have been doing in our young teens phase.
No.
Because I mean, I think there comes a point. I think it's fair to say there comes a point for most people where they just stop.
Yeah.
I've made this argument before, or point. It's not an argument, I don't think. I think it's a point. Kids move through phases. They always have done.
Yeah.
You went through a Star Wars phase. You went through a Transformers phase. Sometimes they'd overlap. Sometimes they wouldn't. Now, and that was carried by the Transformers, probably more so in America than over here because of how it was shown over here back in the 80s. You had Transformers on the air for 3 years, 4 years. You had Star Wars 3 years between a film, but you were still excited about it. You had a comic carrying it over. You had books. You had other things. Obviously, Transformers, you had the comic as well. They were a really long thing. Get to the 90s, you had Power Rangers. 6 months worth of episodes. And then you'd wait 6 months for the next series. But in between that, you would have something else for 6 months, to capture your imagination. So you played with those toys for quite a long time. Now everything drops on Netflix in a day. You've binged it in a week. Oh, my son's really, really into X show. I'll buy him all the toys. By the time he's got those toys, he's already on to something else.
Yeah.
And then he's on to something else, and he's on to something else because of this binge culture that we've got now. And that's why I think kids aren't playing. I mean, obviously there's the interactive aspect as well. I'm not denying that at all. I'm not arguing against that. But a big point is they don't get into something for as long as what we did because it's done. It's already finished.
But I think also as well on that, I think the other difference you've got there as well is back in our day, all these cartoons were on what you class as terrestrial TV. They were on. You got home from school. They were on either BBC or ITV, and they were there. There was a set amount of time between 3:30 and 5:30. That was the children's programming block, and then again on Saturday morning. Yeah. Now, because of the way things operate now, children's TV has been farmed out to dedicated channels and things like that. And if you don't have the subscriptions for them, you don't get to see them. I mean,
and they're expensive.
Yeah, and they're expensive. So it's like, so that's probably why there isn't as big of impact as well for these toys, because kids maybe aren't catching the backup media that supports the toy line for them as well. Maybe they are in some respects, but not to the degree like it was back in our day. Yeah, because where you was literally hit over the head and bob back. I mean, toy adverts now. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a toy advert on TV.
I don't have TV, so I don't see any toy adverts.
I'll tell you
through watching advert. Well, I don't watch adverts on YouTube. Watching videos on YouTube, I do see some adverts for like Smith's Toys, and frequently they'll be promoting one particular toy. I do see that quite a bit. Yeah. And I think I've seen Smith's Toys adverts on TV when I've popped around to people's houses.
Yeah, but that's an advert by a toy shop.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they're using.
I'm actually talking about a proper toy advert where the purpose of the advert is the toy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're repurposing material from adverts given them to them by Hasbro and whatever else, which would have been originally intended for its own advert for that toy.
I think they're doing a lot of their own stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of a lot of the toy shop adverts are actually mashups of various different characters from various different lines participating and playing around in the actual store itself. So actually, as Ed says, the actual sort of the focus isn't necessarily on a single line. Sometimes it is, but often it's just a general come to our store. We've got lots of cool stuff, Yeah. I was going to say a classic example of that that sort of flash bang scenario was my lad watched the new Netflix Voltron series, and really sort of enjoyed that. So Miggins here got him the big electronic combining Voltron Lions at some expense, because I had to get them in from America. Did he play with them? Did he Eckers like in the draw straight after Christmas Day? Not, he'd moved on, like you said, totally moved on. Now, Lego did last longer for him, but even then, he was very specific about what he wanted to get. And actually, it was a lot of the non-licensed stuff was the stuff that he was getting. So he liked the Arctic Explorers line, for example. That tickled him. So he got that. That was probably the most complete line of Lego he had. And then obviously then he sort of moved on. But at least with Lego is clever in the sense that it has lines embedded within itself. So you can follow different things. And when your interests shift, you shift through different Lego lines. That's quite clever of them. It keeps you in the Lego universe, but you're moving inside it as your tastes change. So it's clever, you know.
Right. No, I think Dave's absolutely spot on as well with what he said there. There's been a shift in parenting attitudes. Kids will play with toys if they're given the opportunity, but parents tend to just hand them a tablet, phone, or even the TV, and just, they use it as a babysitting device. And yeah, the phone thing, the amount of prams that get pushed into my shop with a toddler holding a phone, it's really, really irritating. I mean, I shouldn't judge other people's parenting habits, but a phone's not there just to shut your kid up. If you need that, then you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, it was quite fun actually. I remember once I was abroad, and I can't remember if it was someone who worked at the hotel or if someone else just sort of said it. And they complimented us for the fact that our child did not have a tablet at the breakfast table. Because a lot of the kids did.
Richard. I saw an advert recently for wrestling figures where the dad remembered playing with his dad before continuing to play with his son. You might have the wrestling red Cadillac in your shop window. I don't, but I do actually kind of recall this advert. I feel like I've seen that one.
Oh, well, while Blackadder's there, then, I will tell him.
Parenting thing.
The CGI thing. I looked into it in between subjects. Vertigo did have CGI in it.
Oh, did it?
But it were. I don't know whether or not you class it. Actually, it was used in the opening credits. So it wasn't actually part. Yeah, it wasn't actually part of the film. The first film to actually use it as part of the actual live film, if you will, was actually Westworld with Yul Brynner.
Ah, how appropriate!
Yeah.
So, Richard.
So there you go. So yeah, Vertigo was the first film that had CGI in it, but it was just the credits, the opening credits. But the actual use of CGI as of actual part of the film itself, the film experience, it was Westworld. There we go. And then the Bob Moth thing, whatever it is, I've no idea.
I think that was just a joke.
Yeah, it was. It was. That's very jumpy. Anyway, are we moving on to his next topic?
Yeah, well, it's not really a topic, is it? It's the regular feature. What we've been buying, ladies and gentlemen? What we've been buying?
I haven't been buying a lot, actually. I actually owe you. I owe the general popular Cosmic Toys pickup video actually because I haven't done it yet.
You don't owe it.
Well, but I do kind of. So I need to do one because I did pick up the what is his name now? What's the Argonauts bloke called? Talos.
Talos. It's probably Talos, but I say Talos because there's only one L.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
What's that? Sorry,
named in the film, does it? Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes.
Talos, the big iron statue that comes alive.
I think they do call it Talos.
Do they?
Yeah, I think they do say Talos in the film.
Oh, okay, there we go then. There we go.
If someone in the chat wants to confirm that, so
I've got the Blu-ray.
Who's going then? Who's going then for
first?
I've got nothing to display apart from all my pencil toppers.
And we've already seen them.
He showed us his toppers. Right, well, go on then. I'll show you my pickups then.
Go on then.
Unless you want to go first, Gareth?
No, go for it.
Right then. Well, I'll start. You might as well get comfy because I've actually got a bit, actually.
Oh,
so, Here we go.
I've got a funny feeling we might overlap on one of them.
We've got Didymus Prime.
Dave's toy of the year for last year, I think, is that.
Little, this came to me kindly via Kapow Toys. I was on their second batch, so I didn't get this file. I got this the day after the Cosmic Council 2 weeks ago, so it came in just a little late. It's a fun little thing. It really is nice. It's a fun little figure. Transforms pretty much the way you'd expect. It's about 3/4 of the size of the G1 Prime, and he's even got rubber tires as well, which is nice. You know, got the Energon axe, and he even has a matrix, which you can't really see very well. I need to sort my lighting out. It's shocking. But yeah, he's got a removable matrix that you can take out of his chest and that. So yeah, that's one of them. So I do like that. I'll be doing more with that. I've taken a few photos, but I've got some more photos and stuff to get to take, and I might do a little write up about that as well. So that's the first figure as such. The next one is this big boy, X-Transbot's Ground Bite.
Yeah.
Which is their version of a Masterpiece Scrapper. Which
you did an Icons image of him, didn't you?
It's what? Sorry,
you did an image of him, didn't you, for the Icon Vault?
I did. Yes, yeah, I did a picture. Again, there'll be review. Some nice little extras there. You get the chest plate, some trumpets, a gun, and then you get the thigh piece for his combined mode.
Cool.
There's like a little base plate that he'll stand on once it's combined, and then you want to see the figure itself. Sorry. Oh, love that smell. Love that smell. There we go. He's a hefty chunk. There's
that's
so much. There's so much die cast in this thing. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
And I know the reason is because he makes up the foot. He's the foot of Devastator, so you need the die cast in there for its stability. But yeah, it's a great figure. Is that? Again, I've taken some photos of that. They're on my Instagram account and Facebook, and I will be doing a review of that one. So that's another pick-up. Let me see now. What else have we got?
Hey, cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Richard saying he got a Blockies RC minifigure kit, and it's there in his little profile picture there. It's quite cool.
That's cool.
Oh, Blockies. Yeah.
I still call them Blockies. But yeah, I know it's Blockies.
The interesting thing with that Devastator one is that you'd have to get 2 sets of them, wouldn't you?
Three.
Because you'd want to display it as Devastator and as individual ones because they look so good. It's clever
in both modes, vehicle and bot. So 3 of them.
3 of them.
Well, to be fair, I've got the Toy World Constructor box set. I mean, it's a huge box like that, and when that's combined, that's a good Masterpiece scale and looking Devastator when that's combined. The individual robots, no. The individual robots are more akin to a Chug, I would say. But when it's combined, it's a good. And I think if I don't end up selling that, I think that could be my combined Devastator, and these stay as like the individual bots.
Cool.
Richard's asking if they're all out yet because it looks great.
No, there's only 2. There's Ground Bite, which is Scrapper, and Big Load, which is Long Haul. There's just those 2 out at the moment. But I reckon the whole set will be done by, I reckon, probably the 3rd quarter of this year. I think X-Transbots are wanting to get them out and get them done. Right then, so the next lot of pickups. mixed bag, really. I think I mentioned these on the last Cosmic Council. Well, they came in a couple of days afterwards. We have a DVD box set, The Fallen Rise of Reginald Perrin, which, if nobody's watched it, I can recommend it. It's very, very good. Very good. Those of us of a certain age will kind of, get it. We'll understand what's going on there. And because it was cheap and it was on the same website, I picked up the box set of Rising Damp as well, which is, again, another series from when I was a kid that I used to love watching. Very good. Very, very funny. There's probably quite a lot in that probably wouldn't get it shown these days on TV. But it's all... It's good-natured stuff. There's no malice in any of it. What's next? Oh. Where's Andy gone?
I don't know, but I think you've prompted him. He did a runner when you showed him that Reginald Perrin box set.
Ah, I see. Right then. So the next pickup. Right. These are all books now. These are all books. So the first one is Crash Micro. That's the December-January edition of Crash Micro.
Spectrum!
Yes, it's Spectrum related. So it's all,
I think at this point now, I would be offended if there wasn't something Spectrum related.
Well, the next book that came in was the Houston Helpline. Spectrum. So this is basically in the magazines, in the computer magazines at the time, people could write in and the chaps from Houston Games would write back. So like giving advice on how to complete games, or if there was any coding errors, give you advice on how to, fix gaps in the code and things. And that's what that is. It's a collection of all the articles from the magazines. So you've got pokes in there. You've also got coding, so you can insert code into games and help you.
Hello, Anthony. Haven't seen
complete
you
games and stuff.
How are you?
And then this is getting even more nerdier as well. The same publisher. 40 best machine code routines. So if you want to learn and do various machine coding on your ZX Spectrum, you can do with that book. I haven't started reading them ones yet. I've still a few books. I'm behind actually on the books that I'm reading. I need to catch up. The next one that came in, ZX Dreams. And this is a compilation of. This is the sister volume to the first book that came out. I think this one came out last year, which was ZX Nightmares. And this book was it's about all those games that we played back in the day, which were really hard to complete or impossible to do or things like that. Yeah. So, kept you awake on a night, thinking, how am I going to get past that level, or how can I avoid that nasty? Well, this one, the same author, same publisher, this is ZX Dreams. And this is all about the games that were just the best of the best games, from back in the day, the ones that we enjoyed playing and, that we loved and still think about now. So that was that one. And then this one came in a while ago, but I don't think I mentioned it. So I wanted to mention it now, just in case I didn't, because it's a fantastic book. And I think if you like this kind of thing, I think it's well worth you picking it up. And that is this. More news as it's made. This is a book by, he's on Instagram called Palitoy Fantastic. It's a chap called David Gillis. He's been on the Collector's Archive. I interviewed him on the Collector's Archive. And he does Action Force photography. But what he does, the photography that he does, he makes stories for the photographs. and that's so like he does like little narratives with the photos. They're really, really good. I mean, I backed this. This was a Kickstarter book. I backed it on day one, and I actually did a promo video for him as well to advertise it, which you may or may not have seen. But it doesn't just stick to Action Force. It does also like incorporate vehicles from other toy lines, and he'll paint them up. So he does a lot of custom work. Wow. But yeah, it's a fantastic book. And the title, More News as It's Made, comes from the old Action Force adverts from the early 80s. And that's where that term comes from. So yeah, that came in a while ago, but I've not mentioned it, but I wanted to mention it now. So yeah, fantastic book that. And that's it. I'm done. Those are my pickups.
Cool. I just ran off to go and grab some stuff, which occurs to me I hadn't actually opened yet. So,
all right, okay. Well, before you do, Anthony here is asking, do you collect anything to do with Goosebumps by R.L. Stine? I don't think anyone on our panel does.
No, I know of it. I know the stories, but
not too long ago, I had. Put myself on so you can actually see my hand motions when I do this. Not too long ago, I had what I thought was a boglin. The original boglins that were about so big you could put your hand in them, move their eyes around, big rubbery arms. It was bright green with brown horns. And I honestly thought it was a boglin, but it actually turned out to be a Goosebumps toy. I couldn't tell you what it was called. But yes, it was a boglin, and that's long gone now, though. So beyond that, no. He likes books with pictures in it. Not much of a big reader, bless him. Right, Andy, back over to you.
Right. Well, I got these because I've never really sort of had them, and I think maybe because you were talking about Action Force, it was sort of reminding me a little bit of them.
Yeah.
It's the A-Team figures.
Oh yeah, Galoob.
The Galoob A-Team figures. Yes, indeed. So we've got B.A. Baracus. We've got...
They're more reminiscent of G.I. Joe, actually, than Action Force.
They got Face Man. Hannibal. No weapons or anything, just loose. But it was the set in one go. And Howling Mad Murdoch in orange for no apparent reason.
Well, there's if I find the link, Andy, I'll send it to you. But there's a chap on YouTube did a video, an interesting video about those 18 figures.
Yeah.
And what it was prior to those coming out, Galoob did a really shonky, cheaply built toy line. Yeah. And they were just random army figures that went with it. And they basically just like put remolded heads on them. Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
So all the vehicles that you can get for the 18 figures all come from this prior toy line.
Ah, right. So that's why the 18 van thing that you get from them isn't a van.
Yeah, so that's why you've got like a jet and you've got a helicopter and you've got like the attack tank track kind of thing, So so it was just this prior toy line they just repurposed, but they were really cheaply made. They broke really quickly. Yeah. But like I said, if I can dig the link out, I'll send you. So it's an interesting watch.
And then the other thing I got was just this loose.
All right.
This is the original Corgi release of the Enterprise D. It doesn't have a stand, but just look at the. Now I don't know what you think of that, but the Aztecing on that seems to have gone a little bit crazy. And it seems that they've made it very much grayer as a result than perhaps I would have expected for Enterprise D. So I mean, it's nice and solid. I've literally just had it in the hand now. It's got a little bit of metal to it. I think the saucer section is plasticky, but the battle section is metal. So it's quite nice. But I don't know if it's any physically different to the one that they've recently released or re-released, effectively, but. I might have to try and get that one of those. It's just nice. Relatively cheap, yeah. So it's cool. I don't think it separates, or does it?
Depends how hard you yank it.
I know. I was just going to say, knowing me, let's not go there. Yeah, it's like I have.
Hello, Joe. This is the third Joe of the evening.
Joe.
Um,
We need 87 now. There you go.
Yeah, because have they released the Enterprise A one yet, Corgi?
I haven't seen it, but they are planning to, I believe, aren't they?
Sorry, is it the Enterprise A? Is it just the refit Enterprise?
I don't know. It might just be the refit. I think people seem to be quite excited for it, from what I've heard, but I don't know if it's how. I don't know how imminent.
I'll be honest with you. I'm tempted, but it just depends. I want to see it first before I'd like to see one actual in hand. You know, before I decide to buy one myself, because it's like with the Corgi stuff like that, I'm a bit of a stickler for how sometimes the paint can be a bit too thickly applied, so you don't get some of the lining details. And like with it being die cast, sometimes you get a bit of a gap, you know, where they put the two parts, you know, the two halves together and things like that. And there's nothing worse than turning it upside down and the nice lines being broken up by a big rivet or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to stuff like that.
I mean, this looks. I mean, I think that's also just where the stand would have gone. But no, I mean that's kind of Eagle Moss level in terms of not showing any sort of, you know, obvious joins and so on. It's just that it looks busy. It looks busy as all heck.
Right.
Because of the Aztecing. It's good.
Stop making Dave want Star Trek stuff, Andy.
Sorry, Dave.
Right. Right, so I suppose we're on to me now then.
Yep.
What time is it? How long have we got? And what to start with?
I'll tell you what was the thing that you said we'd probably show the same thing?
I will save that till last.
Oh, mysterious.
Because it is the best thing that I've got here, to be honest with you. So I'll save it till last. And I've also got a separate video coming out of it on its own. Right, okay. I'm going to start off with a couple of gifts that I was given on Saturday, because it's very, very kind of these people to give me these gifts. So thank you very much, Ben, for giving me the squishiest Godzilla I've ever squished. And you can use squishy. It's like one of those stress toys. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty fun. So thank you very much, Ben. That's Ben Walton, who's normally in the chat. It doesn't look like he's here tonight.
Kind. It's daft. It's like, let's go to a toy shop and give the person who sells toys a toy. It'd be like walking into a sweet shop and saying, "Here you go, mister. There's a box of twirls for you."
Well, he knows what I sell, and he knows I don't sell them. And I think the only place I've seen them in the UK is B&M.
Right.
I did say to him, I said, "Oh, you bugger." I'd seen these several weeks before Christmas, and they had all 6 of them, because there's 6 to collect. They had all 6 of them on the shelf at B&M, and I was like, "Oh, they're cool. Go on then. It's only so much." And I picked all 6 up, and I started walking to the counter, and then I was like, "Gareth, what the hell are you doing? What do you want these things for?" So I went and put them back, and I thought, "Do I just get the Godzilla?" And I was like, "No, because then you'll want to get all 6. So I put them back and walked out without them. And then he went and brought me one as a gift. He's a bugger. And then Martin, who is in the chat, that's Bobba Martz, he turned up with this for me.
Oh,
which was very kind of him.
That's lovely.
He had, in our group chat, asked me who my favourite Doctor was. To which I couldn't give him an answer. But I did eventually go back and say, if I had to pick an era, it would probably be the 3rd Doctor, because I love the chemistry between him, the Brigadier, and the Master. And then he got this done for me. He did get one other done for me as well, so there was a pair. The other one's got the TARDIS flying through the time vortex, and Cosmic across the top and Toys across the bottom from the Cosmic Toys logo. So thanks very much, Martin. I've stuck the one with Cosmic Toys on it. I felt that had to be displayed at the shop, so that's hung up at the shop. It needs a permanent home, because I'm not happy with where it is at the moment. He knows. Okay, I don't think I've ever had so much to show you. Right, a Star Wars item. I don't think I've ever shown a Star Wars item. Star Wars Black Series. It's a box set. I didn't get it from me because I don't sell these. These were exclusive to Hasbro Pulse, but somehow Zavi's got them.
Obviously.
So The Last Command, they've got them at a discount. So you get 4 figures in it. Yeah, Luke, Mara Jade, Jerus Saboth, and Luke with the double U because he's the evil clone of Luke made from Luke's hand that was detached in The Empire Strikes Back.
Have a Doctor Who of them?
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm a sucker for anything to do with the original Thrawn trilogy, and The Last Command is the 3rd book in that series. So yeah.
Was that, with that being through Zavi then, was it heavily discounted from the Hasbro price?
Yes. Well, you can imagine what 4 Black Series figures costs.
Hmm.
It was either 60 or 69.
Right.
Which, it's not bad, is it, really?
And how much were it at Zavi?
No, that's how much it was at Zavi.
69?
60. It's either 60 or 69. Yeah.
Right.
I know it began with a 6.
So how much would it has on Hasbro Pulse?
I think it was like probably £100, wasn't it? There's 4 of them. Probably
Right.
£100. Yeah.
Right.
The only thing I'm questioning is, can someone who's read the trilogy more recently than I have explain why Jerus Saboth comes with a lightsaber? Because I don't recall him ever having a lightsaber. He used the Force lightning. He didn't need a lightsaber. So yeah.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but to me that looks like a reuse of the swap out hands from the Starkiller box set.
Could be, or it could be the Emperor. You normally find with the comic book ones, which I suppose this is a comic book one, you normally find that most of the parts are reuses of figures that have already been released.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a straight up the one from the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That's a straight up use of that. That's a fairly generic one. I think they used it for a Dr. Aphra, and it's being used for a Leia.
Right.
It's got new head sculpts, obviously. That's an Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, Revenge of the Jedi. Not Revenge of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith. But it does come with a soft goods cape, which is new.
Right.
I'm not sure what this figure might be. But, yeah. I don't get the lightsaber, but other than that, it's not a bad set. It's all right. It's okay. Next thing, Ed's already seen I've got this because I've shown him the thumbnail for the video that I've yet to film. I got the time. It looks like an original one, but it's actually a knockoff. A knockoff from AliExpress. I'll tout for them. I've got an idea of doing a video per toy of some, not all, of the G1 toy line. But I figured I'd do the knockoffs because most people do the originals. So I could actually talk about how good or how crap these actually are. And
do you have that many originals to compare them with?
No, which is why I'm going to be getting 1 or 2 every month. Yeah, because it'll be a long, ongoing thing. Sorry, no, I won't be comparing them to the originals. I'll be comparing them to my memory of the ones that I've had in stock.
Got you.
Yeah.
So will you be buying the new Megatron KO?
Possibly. Yeah, because I've already been looking for one, and obviously there isn't one until very, very recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, possibly. I'll wait and see what people think of it. I have ordered 2 already to come after this. And they arrived today, and they're going back. Sunstreaker.
Hey.
And they packaged the instructions in front of the vehicle. Wheeljack. Now, do you know why I ordered 2 from the same place?
No, Gareth, do tell us. Why did you order 2 from the same place?
Well, when you're packing these to post, common sense dictates that.
Yep.
Because these tend to get folded over in the post. And even though they're knockoffs, I want the boxes to be in as good condition as possible. Well, they didn't pack them like that, did they? They packed them like that.
Nice.
And they've absolutely crushed each other.
Oh, good lord! Oh, they really have, haven't they? Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Well,
going for. Maybe that
they
was
were like that.
Oh god, maybe they're going for the vintage look. You know.
Yeah. So as soon as they arrived, I just thought, you know what? I'm not having that. Took pictures, sent it in. I said, I want a refund. Cheeky buggers, I said, I've got to send them back as well. So they're going to go back, but I thought I'd show you them tonight.
What size was the cab? I mean, I know you're going to do a video on this anyway, but what size is the cab of Optimus there?
The same size as the original one.
Is it?
Yep, absolutely the same. They're made from the same molds, aren't they, Ed?
It's what?
They're made from the same molds, pretty much, aren't they?
Yeah, but one of the working theories is that these G1 knockoffs are actually made from the original, like Takara Hasbro molds. That
wow.
When they stopped being, because obviously, you know, back in the day they were made in China or made in Vietnam and places like that. So obviously once they stopped producing them and, you know, things like that, the factories were probably ordered to destroy the molds or things like that. But they didn't. They probably didn't, you know, so they've probably just been sat somewhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them probably are recasts, but I think one of the working theories is that they're being manufactured from the existing molds, because the amount of money that you'd have to outlay to recast some of them. I mean, because like there's certain figures that haven't received the reissue treatment because Hasbro or Takara just don't have the molds. So like the Dinobots, Wheeljack is another one. Because either they do have the molds or the molds are in such a deteriorated state that they're no good. A good example of that is Jazz. The reissues of Jazz that we've had up to press have been taken from the G2 mold.
Oh, right.
So there is slight differences to the original G1 figure, mainly in the design of the feet and the face. So, you know, that's, and same with, well, actually, no, it is a bit of a misconception, but there is a slight difference with the Soundwave reissues, you know, because there was a design change. So it was like an external mechanism for the opening cassette door, you know, so it doesn't use the original mold. So, you know, there is some discussion and debate of how and where they come about. But to press some of the KOs that I've had, you know, in my collection that have been and gone, they've been all right. They've been all right. You know, there's been very few of them that have been shocking, let's say. But the ones that the most popular ones, which are the ones now are a bit like hen's teeth, are the mini cassettes. You know, like your Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage and Laserbeak, and you know
they've got them.
Yeah,
They've been released.
They're all over AliExpress. Are those?
Mm. Yeah. But at what cost? Are they? They're not as cheap as what they used to be. I mean, back when I were picking them up, I think they were about £9.
Yeah, they're a lot more than that now. But then again, everything's a lot more now.
Yeah.
Because I have to chuckle. I've caught a couple of Simon's live streams on Instagram. You know, TFUK Collector.
Oh yeah.
And it keeps telling everyone that's buying them all, they're just 20 quid knockoffs. The 20 quid knockoffs. It's like, where are you getting them from for 20 quid, mate?
Mm. Maybe it's had them for a while. Yeah, perhaps it's had them for a while.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, the cheapest one you can find, strangely enough, is this.
Mm.
And it's probably down to the sheer quantity of how many they're making.
Yeah,
right.
Because that's, depending where you go, it's between 25 and 35 quid.
Mm.
You're paying more than that for one of these. So, yeah, they're not 20 quid anymore. Even knockoffs. There we go. So I've got two more things to show you. Right, this arrived today. And it will be in next week's video, but it's too fun not to show you. There's another 3 things that came today that I won't show you. It's a Godzilla in a UFO.
Of course it is.
I just thought it was absolutely incredible. It's just fun.
You went to B&M, declined squishy Godzillas, and got that.
No, I didn't get this from B&M. No. I ordered this. I actually ordered this.
You ordered that
from Mondo at great expense. And it's not the first time they've made it, but it's the first time I just liked this colour scheme. It came out before in sort of like a green and a silver spaceship, and I was just like, that's ridiculous, is that? I don't like it. It's a load of rubbish. Of course it's ridiculous. It's supposed to be. But then they shown it in this colour scheme, and I was just like, yeah, I like that.
I'm getting massive Critter vibes off that.
Yeah, it's got that going on for it. I can see it. Yeah.
Didn't he once get pulled into space by a UFO? Is that what that's referring? Yeah.
Well, strangely enough, this colour scheme, it was abducted by the Zillions, who wore black leather. Yeah. And this colour scheme is called the Zillion Edition. So yeah, I quite like that one. That's cool. And I'm going to put him down here because it's painted underneath, and I don't want to scuff his silver balls. So I'll put him on something soft. And then the other thing is the item that I thought that Ed and I might cross over with, because I'm sure he did mention that he was going to pick one of these up. And that's this.
Oh, the Choker King.
Yeah.
Rubik's Cube robot, brilliant.
I thought you said you were going to get one, so I did half expect to see this tonight.
Mine hasn't come yet.
Has it not? Should have got it from Cosmic Toys. We got it last week.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure you only ordered it in because I told you I'd pre-ordered it.
Well, I pre-ordered it as soon as I went up a pre-order. I've got 3 of them in stock.
Whatever.
So yeah, life-size Rubik's Cube that transforms into a transform. It's got some weight. It does have some weight. It's not as heavy as the Voltron, as you can imagine, but I think it's heavier than the Mechagodzilla, which is bigger than this. Yeah, in sitting mode, because he sits. Of course, he sits. He just perfectly sits on top of my Mac Mini. So that might be where he lives. So I can fidget with him while I'm waiting for videos to process.
Are you transforming him then?
No. Wait. There's no pictures. It turns into a cube.
A cube?
Do you want me to?
A multicolored cube.
No, it's fine. I'm going to be going anyway. I'm going now. I was going to go at past, but I was waiting for you to do your show and tell.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry to keep you.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
It was worth your time.
It's what? Sorry?
I hope it was worth your time.
I shall. I'll send you an invoice for it.
I've got my accounts to pay this week.
So, yeah, right. No, it's been great. It's been emotional. It's been a right laugh, And I'll probably see you two at some point. But the viewing, the unwashed masses, the viewers, I will see you in 2 weeks' time. All the best. Take care.
See you later. Oh, bless him.
And then there were 2.
He says the nicest thing about our viewers, doesn't he?
He does.
Where was I with the chats?
Yeah.
I think I got to there. So, there we are.
We're a little tardy now.
Joe had said Hasbro has owned Galoob since around about 2005.
Wow.
Might be earlier. I know there were like lawsuits and stuff. So there we go. Do you guys ever buy mystery boxes?
I have never bought one because I don't know. I'd hate getting stuff I didn't want to get. That would be a thing for me, I think. It's fair to say, if I'm honest.
I used to make them up and send them out. And then they became
Really
really popular and everyone else got really successful with them. And sales on mine started dropping because everyone wanted different ones every month. So I stopped doing them.
I have to ask Anthony, is there an unofficial Anthony Dean channel, and you therefore have to distinguish yourself as the official one?
Oh, I need to change the name of this to the official. Grimlock, you can put your red eyes instead of blue. Did he become a Decepticon?
He was at one point in the comics, I believe.
Oh, there you go then. That might be something to do with that. Richard. I like that. That's cool. Squishzilla, I know, ain't he cute? HMV sell good mystery boxes. Do they? I never see anyone buying them. I see piles of them when I go in, but I never see anyone buying them. Doctor Who. Very welcome. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you. Favourite companion is Rose Tyler. You need to watch the classics because any answer beyond Sarah Jane Smith is wrong. Oh, you're wrong as well. Although Ace was a good one. Followed by Leela and Martha. Oh, interesting. Grew up with Rose and Martha. Rose is good, but prefers Freema. You've got your kinks, haven't you, Richard? You've got your kinks.
You might be interested in Sense8. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, is she in that, Freema? Freema Agyeman?
She's very in that.
Oh, is she now? She was badass in Torchwood. She
was briefly in Torchwood, I believe. Yes.
Oh, okay. Torchwood was a pretty underrated show. I agree, but then they went to America and became the X-Files, and it was rubbish. In a game I play called Rec Room, they have a Doctor Who T-shirt in it. I love to collect games as well as toys. I've got a substantial toy collection. A Transformer, Gareth. Yes, multiple thereof, Dave. Multiple. Yeah. You'll be having me back on your show soon. I haven't bought anything in ages, so we'll need to at some point. Cool. Want to start recording my trips to shops, but I'm a bit camera shy. Yeah, you need to get over that if you're going to be putting yourself out there on channels. Right. Anthony has... Me and Auntie are on each other's Facebooks. Yeah. So I see Anthony's posts. I would never have had you down as camera shy. I can't remember a post that you've put up that hasn't been a selfie.
I think maybe
it's a little bit different from filming yourself. I'll give you that.
Well, yeah, but that what he might mean is he's a bit shy about using cameras filming wise,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe he means that. I don't know.
Try to be careful not to capture people in footage as well. Don't worry, Anthony. We all start like that. Yeah, I certainly did. Yeah. I like them. Do you open them or leave them inside? I tend to open and keep the boxes for later. Depends on what it is. I mean, these I've bought to open up on a video and review. I do like my toys out of boxes.
It's very hard to display things in boxes, I find.
This will stay inboxed. This won't come out of the box. So there you are. Make of that what you will. You get comfortable over time. Yeah, it builds up. I can remember not liking the sound of my own voice, even though that was the only thing that I put of me in my earliest videos. And if AI had been at its stages back then, I probably would have filtered over my voice as well. But then it was a long time after that I started putting my face in there. Do you still have the Willy Wonka figure? He sold that ages ago. I'm guessing you're talking about the little one, but on the green base with the black and white stripy things. Wait, a long time ago did that. Going shop if I miss the end. Bye for now. Take care, Richard. How much are the Rubiks? £79, Phil. £79. Robert! So sorry he's late. You've missed it all. Missed out on getting the Mezco 112 Dr. Octopus sold out everywhere, yet seen numerous AliExpress listings have it and claim 100% genuine item. Seems dodgy. It's a strange one because AliExpress is like any other market, online marketplace. Some sellers do sell genuine items on there, and quite frequently they get them sooner than the official ones are on sale over here. So it's hard to say. You can normally tell by the price point, though. If it's dirt cheap, it's fake. If it's just a little cheaper or even more than the RRP, then chances are it's a legit one. But it's like eBay and everything else. You can send it back. You're not happy, you get a refund. And I just did with these two. They've already approved my refund. All I have to do is show evidence of sending them back.
All right, cool.
You have missed so much. You have, yes. Good night, Ed. Everyone says good night, Ed.
It'll still be here, though.
Might change my screen name to Knock Off Nipples. Or even if you just go with KO Nipples, because then it'd say Conipples.
Nipples. Two nipples. Yes.
Blame Charlotte and AliExpress are great. Just don't go for bad sellers lower than 90% feedback. There you go. There you go. Let's get that off there. We've done with that now. Yeah. Were you going to say something, Andy?
Not particularly. No.
I thought you were going to say something before I put up the octopus thing.
If I was, I've had a senior moment and completely forgotten what it was.
Oh, bless. Bless.
Indeed. Yes.
I understand it was clearly cheaper, but only about 20 difference. It might be a legit one then. Because that 20 quid is probably our VAT over here on an 100 quid figure, isn't it? So it could be the legit one, could that?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess does AliExpress sort of have feedback for sellers? Then is it that sort
they
of
do have feedback for sellers, and I believe you can also pay by PayPal. So you're covered there as well.
Coverage, yeah.
I
do try and use if I didn't do PayPal, I'd probably try and use a credit card just to get the protection, a bit more extra protection for big items. So yeah.
It could be legit. The only thing I will say, if you're bothered about the box, you might not want to get them from there because they don't come through mint. What they tend to do is they won't send this in a box. They put it in one of those. Yeah. If you're lucky, you'll get what I got, which is one of those inflated airbag things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Goes in it, and then they put it into a grey posting bag. They did the same with them, but because they packed each one separately in an airbag and then put them that way around, it was a big, bulky pack which just got squashed.
Yeah.
I mean, it made so much sense just to do that and then put that in a bag, wouldn't it? They probably have them all pre-packed, to be fair. I haven't seen Shah for a while and I've just seen her today. That's why I missed it. Sorry, guys. We'll have to catch up and you watch out for their feedback. Wow, Gap's here. Hello, Gap. How are you doing? I haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're well. Well, I think we've come to the end of it.
It would appear so.
Been a good night.
Yeah.
He's on Andy's channel, he says.
Oh, bless him.
I don't see the little link thing that I normally see if it's on. I won't do because it streams directly to your channel now, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not.
It's
Yeah, cool.
I look forward to the copyright.
Yeah, just in time to say good night. Oh, good morning. Should we say good morning to you, Gap? What time is it where you are?
Yeah. He must be early-ish, I think, early evening.
Yeah. Just woke up, dude. Again. Or have you just been waking dudes up again? It's been fun this year. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, dude.
Good.
I've enjoyed it.
We were quite organised this evening, weren't we? More or less.
Yeah, we need to be a little bit more organised like this in future.
Yeah.
3:55 p.m.
I got all my stuff out last night. Just thought I've got to be on it, so I've done it already, and I need to. In case I'm late in, I don't need to rush around doing it. I can just like eat at my own pace.
You've got all your stuff out. Your pencil toppers.
Yeah, mid space stuff, mid golf.
Right.
I had to go round and gather things, you know.
The gathering.
Yeah, the gathering. Yeah.
Taking that off. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, if you have nothing else to add, we can get on.
Yeah.
We're going.
Aye.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going, everyone.
We're going. Yeah.
Good night. What have you got coming up this week?
What have I got coming up this week? I've forgotten what they're called now. Linkits. I've got Linkits coming.
Linkits.
Linkits.
Video.
I have absolutely no idea whether or not anyone else will remember these things. I only remember them, as I mentioned in the video, in a sort of a second-hand sort of way. You know, when you sort of see something that looks really familiar, but you don't quite know where you know it from. And that it's one of those. It was a little construction toy, which you linked together. But they've got a little backstory as well, which I wasn't aware of. So they have got a little bit sort of, there's characterizations to them loosely as well. So just, funny little kindergarten-y sort of toy. I don't know. But I'm interested to hear if other people remember them. You do see them in the toy fairs on occasion. Mm-hmm. I have seen big boxes of them. But I just had a few examples I randomly picked up. Everyone's saying bye-bye.
Oh, they are, yes. I'm guessing something's going on with Gap that I'm not aware of. I hope everything works out well, though, matey. I really do. Okay. But yeah, I asked the question just as Robert must have been posting it. What's coming out? So Andy's got a video coming out about Linkits. When's that? Is it tomorrow, did you say?
Tomorrow, 7:30. Yes.
Tomorrow at 7:30. And then Friday at 7:30, you've got my next video, which is the unboxing. And it's more just of an unboxing and a slight review of the next Joy toy, Warhammer the Horus Heresy.
Cool.
Primark figure, which is Magnus the Red.
They are beasts, those things. They're
certainly
impressive.
They certainly are. So yeah, there's that. And then obviously it'll be next Tuesday for the regular video. And I need to get filming because I have things that I need filming to make videos of.
That would assist in the making of videos.
Exactly. I've already got the one filmed for this, but I haven't edited it yet. And I've already got the thumbnail made for this, but I haven't filmed it yet.
Excellent. That's preparedness, though. That's good. That's good.
Where are we at? Phil remembers the Linkits.
You just remember them. Cool.
And Richard's back. It's time to say goodbye. Gareth, if you see me spotting in and out, it's because I've got some health issues going on, so I'll be spotty. Well, like I say, I hope everything works out well, mate.
Yeah, did so.
Much love. Much love.
Indeed.
We'll watch them both then, guys. There you go. Thank you, Robert. Right.
We're
going to get off. Let's get bopping our heads to this wonderful thing. Good night, Andy. Good night, chat. Thank you very, very much.
Good night from me is good night from him.
Certainly is.